everybody, we are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. You guys already know it's your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders YouTube, favorite Raiders breakdowns. You guys already know what it is. All right. So, you already know what to do as well. Subscribe. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to us. Like I said, we appreciate all feedback. So go ahead and hit that like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. You already know how that goes, right? And then, leave a comment, right? If you like it, leave a comment. If you don't like it, don't leave a comment, or, leave a comment. Let us know you don't like it, right? And also, if you hear this on iTunes or, Spotify, you're an audio guy, you like the audios, make sure you hit the download and, hit the subscribe button on iTunes and Spotify for Silver and Black Pride, where you can hear this podcast, right? And then you make sure you also subscribe to my boy, Matt Holder's,
Holders Handfuls.
I couldn't even think about it right now. Holders Handfuls. So make sure you subscribe to that and check him out for all his good interviews that he's doing over there. So, and also make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, and then at BD Williams 18. All right. And then, we're going over the win over the Miami Dolphins, right? Raiders are 3-0. So, we're going to be breaking down everything that happened in that game. I mean, not everything, but we're going to be looking at some key things and then, talking about the offense and the defense. Today, I'm going to be going over, Drake versus Barber. There is a little bit of a, Kenyon Drake kind of didn't play in overtime or really late in the fourth quarter of that game. Well, late in the fourth quarter, but he didn't really play in overtime. So I'm going to kind of show you guys why that happened. I think you guys kind of have an idea, but there's a really, really big reason that probably nobody noticed on TV that I'm going to show. BD, what are you going over today?
Yeah, man, I'm going to go over the pass rush, a little bit, and some improvements that we're seeing on the Raiders defense. Plus, working in Divine Diablo into the defense, some interesting things that they're doing with Diablo. So I'll be diving into that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when you were talking, doing the introduction. You can find Tape Don't Lie in a lot of different ways, formats, right?
Yeah.
Type it in on Google. You're going to see a lot of different pages for you to find our content. We also, Marcus and I, we both contribute to Silver and Black Pride, which is an SB Nation sports blogs, for the Raiders, dedicated to the Raiders. So you can find all our written work there too. There's a million ways to find it. I just thought that was funny when you're talking about dropping all those streaming services. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. And I even forgot to sponsorship to Manscaped, bro. So I forgot.
Oh yeah, we got Manscaped.
Discount code TDL, guys. Discount code TDL. Make sure you guys support that. We appreciate all the people that supported. We got 11 people last month to support that. So we appreciate all you guys that did that. And, all the love that you guys still show us. So, we appreciate all the support, so we appreciate it. But back to the game, it was going back through the all 22, it was definitely a different experience than when I from, the broadcast and things like that. Even some of the blown blocks that I charted from the broadcast, I ended up changing once I got to, the all 22. So it was a little different. I thought the offensive line played better than people think. I thought, they got a lot of crap this week. I know Leatherwood got killed by Emmanuel Ogbah. I know a lot of people get killed by Emmanuel Ogbah though. So, he's going through the fire, man. He's got Joey Bosa coming up this week, and he got Khalil Mack coming. So
Mack is coming too.
is coming too. And Alex Leatherwood, yeah, he is struggling right now. I feel like he's just not getting into a set quick enough. I feel like people are beating him around the edge. I feel like he's stopping. He's like getting to a set and he's stopping instead of just keeping going to a set. And like Ogbah hit him with some crazy and some Yannick Ngakwe cross chops that Emmanuel Ogbah. They must have had some a Nigerian meeting and went over cross chops because he did the same jump cross chop that he does. So I thought I saw a lot of that. I thought Andre James had the bad snaps. I know he's getting killed on Twitter right now. He has his issues with the bad snaps. Snaps are really slow coming back, but I still thought that he didn't play as bad as I thought too. I didn't think that it was, an awful performance from him, but it wasn't like the best performance ever either.
Yeah.
So I thought he was just average. I thought, John Simpson had a really bounce back week. He was really good in pass pro this week, and he was really good in run game. I can never get that guy's name right, so I just said 72. I just 72. He's solid, man. That's a solid guard, dude. He's solid all around. He's just, I feel like, at this point, I feel like he's a little bit of an upgrade over Denzel Good because of how solid he's been. He's been like him and Colton Miller have been the guys that have really not have messed up, when the other players have been making mistakes. John Simpson had the bad week last week. And then you got the good week. He bounced back this week because he's not playing Cam Hayward anymore. But he bounced back this week, had a better week. And then, Colton Miller's been steady. I mean, he's had some issues too. He hasn't been as good as he has been last year, but he's still steady. He's still a good player. And, 72 is playing really well. And then, so, you want to see that step up from Leatherwood, but I still thought they did a pretty good job run blocking this week. And I'm going to show that when I go over the run game a little bit.
The thing about this offensive line is we knew that there's a lot of new pieces and it's going to take time for everything to like coalesce, and just like everyone get on the same page with everything.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is going to be communication. A lot of it is just going to be like small little fundamental details. After the bye week, we're going to see like what is still remaining as a question mark, or like these things aren't being coached out,
Yeah.
But and then we could probably have a different discussion about that this potentially hurting the Raiders. But I agree, like what you're talking about with all the defensive ends that Leatherwood's going to have to go up against, right? They're just going to have to survive with this offensive line the way it is. And hopefully it doesn't, start biting them in the butt.
Yeah, exactly. And Carr, I'm going to go more into the Carr facts. But the receivers are just stepping up so much. They're getting open a whole lot more. They're beating press a whole lot more. There's a lot of things going on that are really exciting to see. They're getting open against really good corners. I mean, Xavier Howard is no joke. And Ruggs was able to beat him a couple of times, and on some good plays and just beating him off the line with speed. Ruggs looks so fast right now, dude. Like last year, he didn't look this fast. I mean, he must have been hurt. I don't know, because he looks fast on tap. I feel like he gets into his routes like in 2 seconds. He looks like he runs a 4.27 right now. And I feel like last year he must have been hurt because I did not see that type of speed on the field. You could tell the corners feel it. They're scared. They're terrified of his speed, and if he can, win in the intermediate game and make those contested catches, this could be a big season for him.
Big season.
Big season. Because even if he beats somebody deep and Carr misses, I mean, there's a good chance that he still will catch that football, right? And I think
it's so fun to watch. This is like an interesting combination, probably unusual to be a speed guy with a big catch radius. It's like, whoa, that's, and I think a lot of that too has played into, because correct me if I'm wrong, when Carr is thrown to like certain people, like the ball is like the same way every time. Uh-huh. When he's thrown to Waller in the seam, like the ball is delivered the same exact way every time, right? Like they have a connection, but I feel like Carr's been struggling to find that with Ruggs. Uh-huh. And I think part of it is like, okay, just judging the speed of this player, which he's running faster than everyone else, but then also thinking about leverage and maybe if you could throw him open. I think there's a lot to think about there. And if these guys can get it down, like get the connection down. Yeah. Like this is number one wide receiver stuff. Okay. Like this is rarefied area.
Yeah. Right? And I think he's starting to take that step, and I think Carr's starting to trust him because on a one play on the crosser that he made, that contested catch, he had Xavier Howard beat pretty good, but Carr had to hold the safety because the safety just would have creeped over with Ruggs, right? If he didn't hold it, he stared at it. So he had to hold the guy for a little bit longer than he probably wanted to hit him. So when he came back to Ruggs, he just threw it up in the air. And he was like, go get it. And that's what Ruggs did.
Yeah.
He went and got it.
Just really impressive body control and the weight. The weight is a big factor here because Xavier Howard jumps into Ruggs, right? Mm-hmm. And Ruggs, like he's in midair, like he can't put his foot on the ground and push back against him, right?
Yeah.
But Howard bounces off Ruggs. Ruggs is just like stays strong. Yeah, coming up for that ball, and Howard is the one bouncing off him. So that extra weight was necessary for sure for Ruggs.
Yeah, that game was a confidence booster for all those receivers. Like, oh man, we could beat anybody. Like, you know, they feel like they could beat anybody going forward. So it's going to be a good look for that. You know what I mean? All right, let me get this camera check. All right, here we go. All right, should we just get into it, BD?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Let's
jump into it. Jump into it, bro.
All right, man. So we're talking today about Drake and Barber. All right, so we're talking about Kenyon Drake and Peyton Barber, right? And we're gonna start off with a little Kenyon Drake first. We're gonna go over how these guys look in the run game, okay? And Kenyon Drake, he missed a lot of holes, right? A lot of holes, and I know there's some gap runs, but I mean, I still saw a lot of things happening outside. So you got the long trap here, you got John Simpson getting the seal, right? And then you got Hunter Renfrow, he's on a lead block. You got Henry Ruggs with a good block. I mean, everything's going for him outside. He decides to cut it back in for some reason. I don't know what he saw there. I don't know. I know that's the, it's power and that's the design hole, but I don't know. I feel like that you have to see that, right? I feel like you have to see it. And then you kind of see, he sees it this time on this one. You can see this is basically opposite of, the same play, long trap, different direction, right? Flipped, right? And you see it, but he doesn't see the second level linebacker. So when you're a great running back, man, you have to see the second level linebackers. Okay, so he doesn't see it. So when 72 gets to defensive end, he kind of was going flat to that corner. Okay, so we're gonna watch it one more time. He's kind of going, he's kind of going upwards, like towards, trying to, instead of going flat and outside, he's kind of cornering that because he doesn't see the linebacker coming, right? And if he saw the linebacker, he would be able to make a better decision and probably beat him with his speed to the outside. And then you see it one more time here. It's another one where it's outside. You got a seal block here, right? And I can kind of understand that maybe Agba maybe peels off a little bit, but I mean, you got to trust your speed, bro. You got to trust your speed there. And I think he can get outside on some of those runs and make some better plays there. And then you see here, let's watch, Peyton Barber is totally different. Division is very, very good. So you'll see it here. Look at this. Those jump cuts, great pancake by John Simpson. Awesome on the inside zone slice. So you see that he's able to read that correctly. And then you see the great jump cuts from Peyton Barber, right? And then you see it one more time here on the zone lead. All right. This is where you see some awesome jump cuts from him. And, we talked about last week about, maybe, somebody picked the wrong hole. With Alec Ingold, but you'll see here that Peyton Barber, he sets up outside, then comes back to where Alec Ingold is. Another beautiful jump cut inside with some great blocks from the whole offensive line. Leatherwood, Waller, James, Simpson, everybody had a great block on this run. Led to a big gain. You see the power that he shows. He just runs so hard, right? And you see here again on the zone lead, right, play, but that time he ended up missing the hole, right? So he ended up missing the hole. And that was a big run. So that was like when they were trying to run the clock down, right? And you see it right here again. He misses this on the zone lead. He has two holes that he could hit, right? And Peyton Barber still ends up missing those. So he had an up and down day too. He's a little inconsistent as well. So that inconsistency was shown from him, but he did show better when running the football and better vision, but he's still Peyton Barber and he's still a backup for a reason, right? So we'll see Kenyon Drake in pass blocking, right? And this gets kind of ugly. He's just getting bowled over, man. I mean, that's happened all game. I mean, he was not giving Carr time to throw the football down the field. And Carr was able to get some of these passes off, but sometimes, I mean, Drake just messed up altogether. See him try to cut this guy, doesn't work, quick sack. That's on him. I mean, he ends up tripping up Andre James. See it one more time, misses again, quick sack by Kenyon Drake, right? Kenyon Drake allowed that sack, right? And then you see it here. You just, if Carr had time, I really believe he has Zay Jones over there, but he didn't have time. He had to check that down super quick, and because he missed that block. And this is the biggest play of the game, okay? So this is 3rd and 11. This is right before Jacoby and Brissett and the Dolphins go down the field and they tie the game. Okay. And, Kenyon Drake is supposed to block the guy in the middle, and he doesn't. He goes on a route. Derek Carr made a 5-0 call there, right? And you see Hunter Renfrow is beating his man. That's where he wanted to go with this football. And Kenyon Drake does it. He just messed it up, and watch Carr make the 5-0 right there. He says, this is 5-0. He's telling Kenyon Drake, you messed up. Okay. And you'll see it here, right? It's the same blitz and the same thing before. He's supposed to pick that up based on the call, right? He's supposed to pick that up. And he doesn't. And next thing you know, Jacoby Brissett's going on the field and scoring a touchdown. You see Carr's pissed, man. Look like, gosh darn it, 23. He's just mad, angry. So, but let's watch Peyton Barber pass block, right? This is overtime. A little switch up here. Look at that, nice little block. Allows him to throw downfield for the beautiful throw to Henry Ruggs, right? So, he's picking up the keys. He's listening to Carr, right? Carr's telling him to go that way, pick up this guy. So we'll watch it again, right? Another one. This is another big throw that he opened up with the great block against the blitz, because the Dolphins blitzed him 19 times. Okay, so the Dolphins kept blitzing them. You see another great pickup by Barber. Allows another throw downfield. And then we got the same type of blitz that Kenyon Drake messed up twice. Okay, here's Peyton Barber picking it up. And you can kind of see why maybe, Drake didn't play in overtime at all, right? Great pickup there. That's a tug. That's a hold right there. Should have been a first down. But, that's the difference here, man. And then you got Peyton Barber, he finished the game well with this great play. I still think Alex Leatherwood tackled this guy and they kind of got away with it. But John Simpson did enough, hitting 49, a lot of big run, right? Kind of end the game right there, set up that field goal. And then, Peyton Barber, he also showed that he can catch the football too. So I think we're seeing a little bit of, Kenyon Drake being demoted a little bit after this game, because, Peyton Barber showed that he can be the backup running back. He showed that he could be the full on backup pass blocking third down back. Now I know he can't shake anybody and he's not really going to break any tackles like that. So if, for the check downs, Kenyon Drake is a better receiver than him at this point. But when it comes to pass protection and things like that, and helping out the quarterback and allow them to get some deep passes there, I think that, Barber really showed that he was a great player. But he still was missing holes though. There's sometimes that there's some holes that he missed there that he definitely needed to see and make those cuts, especially late in the game. Those are some big runs that he needed to get some yardage in to drain some clock. And he missed a couple holes there, and that's just kind of why he's just inconsistent and why he's been on, I don't know how many teams he's been on, but he's been on a bunch of them. And that's kind of the reason why. You see these little inconsistent. Sometimes he can be really great. I know Matt Waldman's a big fan of him, and you kind of see why Matt Waldman's a big fan of him with those jump cuts and the way he runs the football and how hard he runs. But I think the vision is just inconsistent, right? It's not as bad as Drake's, which is odd because when I watched Drake at Arizona, that's probably the best thing I saw from him was his vision and the way he could find holes. Maybe it's just the system he's in. He's not in the gap system right now. He's not running power. I know they're trying to get him going with the long trap, but that's probably only the main power run they're running right now. They're not running they're not running many power O's. They're not doing pinhole sweeps. They're not doing anything like that in the power game. So, maybe that's why Drake is struggling. Because he's struggling outside zone too. He's not doing really well running the football, and then he's not pass blocking. And then now he's not playing in overtime.
That breakdown is pretty damning, man. Like, look, I don't care how great of an athlete you are. Yeah. If you can't protect the passer, you can't be a third down back.
No.
Like you're like you're showing, there's going to be times where, the coach is calling in a play where he wants the running back to release and get downfield on a passing, on a route. Yeah. But if there's like a certain thing and the protection needs to be set, that running back gets his job changed. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. So you can't avoid blocking as a running back. You just can't. And it looks like Peyton Barber has been able to pick this up. Like, how long has he been on the team? He's picked this up super quick. Yeah. So he's an upgrade in pass protection. Have we seen any ball security issues from these guys?
The
Barber coughed it up.
Yeah, there's the fumble from him. So that was probably it for ball security. But that's my thing too. You don't want to depend on Peyton Barber, right? I think the Dolphins runs defense is just really bad. I mean that's a big factor here is that they're just not a really good run defense. They're pass rushers, Christian Wilkins. They want to get after the passer. I mean that's what they basically did all game. But in the run game, they got pushed around a little bit, right? I mean John Simpson. I mean he had his way with some of those guys. He's able to push them around to the point where they're getting personal with him. They're getting kind of mad later in the game. So they were able to get some push some guys around in the run game. So I mean what Peyton Barber did against the Dolphins. I mean. I don't know if he's going to do that every week, and that's why you need Josh Jacobs back. But I mean, he showed a lot in pass protection that Kenyon Drake just did not show, man. I mean, even the first week, when Kenyon Drake was doing pass protection, he was getting rolled over too. It was just Carr was getting for the football. He was just getting in the way enough. You know what I mean? Like, and this week, I mean, it didn't matter. I mean, they're just running through him, and it was a problem. And I know the 3rd and 11. I mean, I'm sure. That's why he didn't play in overtime because I mean that was a big part of that. That was a big part of that. I mean, if he gets in the way of that and maybe Carr can just slide or something, I don't know, and then he can hit Renfro downfield. I mean, that's game, and there is no drive down the field to tie the game. So I mean that call. I mean that was on Drake. Drake's he's got to step up and he's got to make that block and he's got to understand the call too. I mean, if you hear Monday or whatever Carr was calling, let him know what the protection is. You got to know that, bro. You got to know what's going on so you don't end up messing that up. So
yeah, it's I feel like Barber is like, you keep on saying, yeah, there's a reason why he's a backup, but yeah, there's a reason why he's been in the NFL this long too.
Yeah,
he's viable,
Yeah,
and I feel like the only edge really that Kenyon Drake has is his ability after the catch, in space. But everything else, Barber, like that has to do with being a running back. Barber has a slight edge on Kenyon Drake. So
yeah.
I mean, and we were talking about this before the show started. Jalen Richard might come back, right? Josh Jacobs might come back. What is this running back rotation going to look like? That's going to be an interesting question mark.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I mean they waived Trey Regis, so I mean they're bringing up Jalen Richard, and I mean to be honest, I mean Jalen Richard, I mean he can't run the football like Barber. I mean I mean the truth, but like he can catch. I mean he can catch just like Drake can, but he passes block. He probably pass blocks just as good as Barber does. So and
if not better,
yeah, right. So and he picks up blitzes. He sees what Carr sees.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Jalen Richard got called right back. I mean, they probably watched the tape and they're like, okay, maybe we're getting Jacobs back. I mean, do we want to keep Barber? That's probably like something they might think about. Like, do we keep him? Because we paid Drake. So I mean, they have to keep Drake. So I mean, if Drake can't pass protect though, Jalen Richard can, right? Because I mean that was the whole thing with bringing in Drake, and when I watched Drake this summer, I even showed it on the breakdown. I mean he was a willing pass blocker, but he still was losing, right? He was willing. He was,
and unfortunately that can only take you so far if your technique isn't great.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing from him right now, at least from those clips that you were showing me, flat-footed, he's not bringing it to the blitzer. He's kind of waiting and catching the guy, and come on, like that's just a simple science problem. Like if you're standing still and someone runs into you, you're going to fall backwards. You got to go attack that guy. You got to meet that guy. So what we're seeing before him being willing and stepping up, we're not seeing that anymore from Kenyon Drake for some reason. But best believe we will see it from Jalen Richard. The guy's not afraid of COVID. He's not afraid of stepping up in the pocket. Okay. All right. And delivering a shot to a linebacker. That's what I love about Jalen Richard. He's got that low center of gravity, but he also unloads on linebackers, makes them feel it, punishes them. Right.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a role for a player like that, or for a back like that,
Yeah.
Can't really run the ball. All right. It's like one every 10 carries. He just takes advantage because the defense is in 2-man, and he has a draw play or a screen play or something like that where he gets 20 yards, and that's once every 3 or 4 games with Jalen Richard. Like that's the most production he's going to really get, honestly. But him being able, like, that's the reason why they won the Jets game last year, because he stepped up and he met that blitzer, right?
Yeah.
And then Carr was able to climb the pocket and hit Henry Ruggs. Like, there's a lot of instances last year where Rashard was making like game-saving plays, and what you just highlighted to us was that Drake missed that, right? And it put the game. This should not have gone to overtime. It should not have gone to overtime.
Yeah.
There's some things I could talk about on the defensive side that made it go to overtime. But the Raiders should have put this team away for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was one reason that Drake blocked. That's one reason, but there's also maybe other couple of reasons on defense too.
Yeah. And, we saw some of those big throws that Carr was making. But like I said, once he, they started picking up the blitzes, because I'm telling you, in the second half, I don't know what the Dolphins decided, but they decided we're just going to let it all go. we're playing too conservative. But they played better in the first half, which was odd. And then they just came after Carr, and then he started beating them a little bit when they started blitzing. So it was odd. It was odd that they switched to that game plan, especially with some of the blitzes there. They just, it is just weird. In the second half, I'm going to show this.
I think it's good for the Raiders that Derek Carr is not I think he's slept on a little bit, he's disrespected.
Yeah.
And some game plans that we're seeing against him, defensive coordinators don't think very highly of Derek Carr because they continually cover zero blitzing him, and he's continually destroying it. So I don't understand why, every game this year we've seen cover zero blitzes just get beat. Last year several times, so I don't get it. I don't get why the teams insist on cover zero blitzing him.
Yeah, because on 3 of the blitzes that they ran, and let's just say 3 of the blitzes they just ran in overtime. Okay, just overtime. They gave up 48 and then another 30. So they gave up 82 yards on those 3 plays.
There you go.
So, I don't know. I don't know what their plan was. I think it worked a little bit in some of the blitzes. And I think when they blitzed early on, I think some of them worked. And I think that's why they thought, okay, if they're working early on, then maybe we could just start, going after him hardcore, and, everything will work since we're getting there. And, Kenyon Drake's not able to block it up. And, we're still creating that matchup where it's our safety and the running back, and we think we can win that matchup. I think that's why they kept attacking it. But, once Peyton Barber came in, it was a different story. And next thing you know, it's big play after big play after big play. So
Peyton Barber. There you go. That's a player I can get behind. I love the veterans who stick around.
The veterans that stick around. Yeah. Because that's how you play,
guys,
bro. Just
right.
That the pass blocking at the end of the game was paramount for the Raiders to pull this one out and score some points in overtime. So,
yeah. Anything else you want to talk about on offense?
Not really. Foster Moreau really struggled in run blocking. I think he was the main issue.
Yeah.
Of all the run blocks. It really wasn't the other linemen. I thought the both third down run and the fourth down run in the first quarter, those were both Foster Moreau getting his butt kicked. I thought Darren Waller missed some blocks too on some of the runs. The tight ends, they got to block better, especially if they're going to be in 12 personnel trying to block. They got to do better, especially Foster Moreau. I don't know what that was. I think the guy was just getting off on him, and he wasn't able to get some good blocks going. But I thought he struggled there as well. But
Foster, you're gonna make John call up freaking Jason Witten again.
I know.
Come on, right? Foster. Come on, Foster.
He's gonna,
he was getting his butt kicked. I saw that on the broadcast. But they tightened up towards the end of the game. They ended up rushing for over 100 yards. With one back on them, 111 yards for Barber. So
yeah,
they figured it out eventually. But yeah, it's going to take some time. Like I said about the offensive line, the run game, everything we're going to see after the bye week where it really is. But let's transition into defense. Okay. So first of all, Raiders aside from like just really a small handful of plays, had a really good game again on defense. There was a lot great hustle, great pursuit to the football. These things are really encouraging to watch. The corners are always contesting everything. Mullen and Hayward are making it very difficult for every single receiver so far that we've seen to get open and to like make clean catches. You know, even the catches that they give up, they're blanketing these guys, right? So that's fun to watch. You know, Bradley called a lot more blitzes, like, you know, probably twice as many blitzes as he's run all season. He called in this game. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that was to kind of take advantage of an offensive line that they might have thought was young and banged up, and there's new guys, new faces in the lineup, stuff like that. And I also think it probably had to do something with the RPO game, just like speeding up the process of the quarterback, you know, when this is such a RPO heavy offense. So I thought that was interesting. But here, I'll just jump into it real quick. All right. All right, so first, let's talk about rushing the quarterback. Okay, this team, they continue to, you know, do a great job. Here we go. We got a flex rotation, means the strong safety is away from the run strength, and he's going to blitz off the edge. We got a 5-man pressure. Okay, means the tight end has to block Max Crosby one-on-one. Never going to happen, right? Here's another pass rush. We got Max Crosby load up, inside spin move. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, but it's not just Max Crosby. Check out Yannick Ngakoue over here. Okay, does a little cross chop, finishes with the bull rush, party at the quarterback, right? Get in on that. Okay, and then also Quentin Jefferson. This team needed a 3 technique who could rush the passer. Quentin Jefferson can do that in spurts. Another inside spin move. Everyone's body slamming the quarterback. Gotta love it. Pass rush was there. Okay, they were wreaking havoc. Here we go. Now later on, similar kind of play, 5-man pressure, but Abram misses. Jacoby Brissett's able to do something when you miss. Okay, and that became a theme in this game, and that was really the only reason that Dolphins stayed in the game, because Jacoby Brissett. Here we go. We got Jefferson. He has a 2-way go, but he comes way too far inside of the center. Okay, and it leaves all this space out here for Jacoby Brissett. Okay, gives a little dead leg to Denzel Perryman, rushes in there for a touchdown. So the Raiders got to fix that. Now, something that they have really made a lot of strides in this year is their pursuit to the football. Here's Nate Hobbs. He's in the slot. Okay, we get a screen out there. Let me go back door on this, make a tackle for a minimal gain. That's a stop on 2nd down. Okay. The funny thing about this play is Abram clearly thinks they're in the wrong coverage and he's demonstrative, but Hayward just dials in. Okay, runs to that. The safety. Okay, here we go. Check out Solomon Thomas. Okay, 3 technique. Does a little bag drill. Bam! Body slams that guy. Big hit. Okay, in pursuit. And then check this out. Okay, I think it's started by these 2 guys. Abram and Perryman, every play, racing each other to the football. They're the Bash brothers. They're stirring the pot on this defense. Gotta love these guys. Now, you know, one play the Raiders want to have back. Okay, we got a little bit of a motion, change of strict motion, and here's Max Crosby. He's in the C gap. He needs to keep his inside arm free. Gets off this block a little late. Maybe a questionable ankle by Morig. Gave up a touchdown. One of the few plays where they didn't play great. Now, they got an interesting dime package here. Now, this is Divine Diablo, okay? And he's back there at safety. They're playing cover 1 cross. He's going to take 3 vertical. When Nate Hobbs drops off is the rat and hole, okay? So they had some interesting coverage packages.
Wow.
That were more like a defensive back, okay? Here we go. We got him playing, again, deep safety, but they're going to be in cover 3, and he's going to come down and be the weak hook curl player. Okay. There was a good amount of volume in this game at different positions, different responsibilities for Devon Diablo, which I thought was interesting. Shoot, he even got in on a blitz. Here we go. He's going to knife inside here. Blitz to the B gap. Okay, I think he could be a little tighter, be a little bit more decisive there. But you see the coaching staff trusts him. Okay, here's another blitz that he got in on off the edge. We got a load front here, so we got all the bigs on one side. Okay, he's going to again knife in. You'd like to see him hit that running back a little harder, but hey, now one area though, where there was one play, 4th and 20, just make a stop. Here he is. He's supposed to take 3 vertical. He's the weak hook curl player. We talked about this the entire time. He's a little indecisive, gives up a catch right there. You'd like to see Abrams sail underneath that as well. Okay, now, one thing that this whole Divine Diablo package, it's made your boy Corey Littleton play a little harder, I think. I think it sent a message to Corey Littleton because he probably had his best game as a Raider. Okay, I think he only gave up 1 catch so far that I've charted. He's had a fantastic game on tape. Okay, and usually he's not a great run player, and he did that as well. So there's some interesting position battles happening. Okay, when they had Dallin Levitt as the dime, player. Okay, it was basically the same coverage every single time for Dallin Levitt.
Okay.
Now that instead of Gillespie, they're going with Divine Diablo as their dime backer, right? He's doing way more stuff than Dallin Levitt ever did out there, including coming down on the line of scrimmage and blitzing off the edge. It's clear that they think highly of this player. They gave him a single digit, okay? And he's out there 230 pounds carrying 3 vertical across the field, clamping down on him and running around. Someone said, is there any chance? Okay, someone asked me, I forget where it was. It was on Twitter. It was, on a YouTube comment. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Someone asked me, is there any chance Divine Diablo is the dime backer? Okay, and I said, no, he's a linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Like they were like, is Divine Diablo going to be one of those safeties in a three safety package? And I was like, no, he's a linebacker. They drafted him to be a linebacker. Well, they just lined him up as safety. So I was wrong about that. And he looked pretty good, except for that one, that one error. So it's going to be an interesting story to monitor. He's going to be slowly chipping away at Corey Littleton's playing time, if that's what they want to, if that's how they want to use him.
Interesting. That was very interesting. That is something that I did not, I don't know how many people actually noticed that. That was like that's the greatness of Al 22 right there, bro. Cause that's something you don't see safeties like that. And, you knew he was on the field, right? Like you knew he played a lot, but you didn't know, you can see where exactly he was playing. And that was super interesting. Cause that is, I feel like that's, what's Gus Bradley and all those Seattle guys, they all have a knack for knowing where to put guys to succeed. Like you see Dan Quinn, he's got Michael Parsons playing defensive end, I don't know how many NFL guys would actually have done that. And I, tried to do it, and saw that skill set and you're like, you know what, I could put you at defensive end and I can have you rush the passer as a sub package rusher. And he's doing really well at it. Right. We saw that in college that he could do that. But there's probably some coach that would have pigeonholed him and just to be a linebacker, and he wouldn't have been as effective and been as impactful as he could be. But, those Seattle guys, they I guess it's, that's something they learned from Pete Carroll is like, you got to adapt to your system to who you have and your talent around you. So, if you have a bunch of guys that, it's better to play too high, and they're probably going to play a little bit more too high. If they have a bunch of guys that, do these things well, they're going to make you do these things. So I think that was very interesting. I really liked what I saw there. Just from watching him, in coverage, because that's the best thing he did in college.
Right.
He wasn't the greatest tackler in the world. He didn't take on blocks, but he could cover, and that's just, he was running with, corners then in college. So playing safety. So not corners, wide receivers. I'm gonna say corners. He's running wide receivers. So,
and he ran with some wide receivers. The length is like shocking to see out there. And the interesting thing about it is, no one so far, like Nate Hobbs has played just nickel. He's basically playing linebacker out there, right?
Yeah.
They just swap out KJ Wright for Nate Hobbs, and nothing changes. Like they line up in the same spots. They play the same exact coverages. When they're playing cover 3, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Right? But at no point has Nate Hobbs rotated back and played like a deep coverage or done something like that. Whereas Divine Diablo comes in and he's playing now multiple positions. He's playing linebacker and he's playing safety. So that's the most interesting thing to me about it.
Yeah.
Is like he's obviously in multiple position groups. If he knows, okay, I need to take 3 vertical and carry him so that whoever has him can drop off and be the rat, he is with the safeties learning that. You don't learn that in the linebacker room. There's no point in learning that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't learn the technique to keep that man coverage going. So I think that's super interesting, honestly, that he's playing 2 positions. They tried it with your boy Kuntz.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, okay, we know we need KJ Wright.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's what's happening. That's the plan for Devon Diablo. So that's super interesting to me. And then, so anything else you want to talk about that before we move on?
It kind of just bothers me a little bit, because that had to be in training camp. Come on, dude. There's no way that they went all through training camp. He knows it that well, and they never put him there in practice.
You're mad at the beat reporters.
Yeah, there's just no way. I mean, there's no way.
They never reported that. Yeah.
No way that you play the Washington. There's no way you come and you play those coverages like that unless you practice it.
Yeah,
you just don't go out there and just carry 3 vertical. Like, oh, that's my job. No, that doesn't work like that. No, bro.
Right.
He should have been out there confused, and he wasn't. So that means he's probably been practicing that for a while. That's what that means.
And we'll see. I think the sky's the limit. I think he's a little indecisive out there, but the movement skills is obviously great. The size is great.
Yeah.
He gets more decisive. I think he could be a guy out there for sure. Going back to, I think what the thorn in the side of this defense is right now is stopping the scrambling quarterback. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it against Lamar Jackson. Okay. It's Lamar Jackson. Jacoby Brissett, that shouldn't be a problem. No, it was still a problem. Jacoby Brissett, I like the guy. He's not like the most dynamic athlete as a quarterback. He's, just got some sauce to him. But the Raiders got to figure out a way to stop these scrambling quarterbacks from gaining that first down on 3rd and long. It's something when I watched the Chiefs playing Gus Bradley last few years.
Yeah.
That's consistently how Patrick Mahomes beat them. It wasn't passing the ball. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have great stats passing the ball against Gus Bradley defense. But when the Chiefs beat them, is because Patrick Mahomes continually ran for first down on 3rd and long, okay, when he didn't want to throw into too high or whatever it was. So the Raiders got to figure this out. I don't know if it's going to be spying him, getting, maybe that's how you work Diablo into the package by having him as a quarterback spy. Mm-hmm. But the Raiders got to do something about the scrambling quarterback because it's gashing them and it's shooting them in the foot.
Yeah, and I mean they don't have a scrambler coming, but they got a guy who's going to try to get out of the pocket and make a play downfield. Yeah. I mean that's the only way they throw it outfield is him being improvising because it'll do it like out of the pocket. But yeah, I mean that's coming up next week, so they're gonna have to. I think they're gonna be able to get pressure from the right side. I'm not getting the preview, but because they're pretty weak. The Chargers don't have a good right side of the offensive line, so they're gonna have to make sure that once they get pressure, which they will. I mean, obviously, it's been 3 weeks in a row. I mean, it's not crazy. They're gonna get pressure.
They're gonna get pressure. Yeah.
They're gonna get pressure, right? So since they're gonna get pressure. They got to take Herbert down, man. They can't. I mean, he's gonna try to get rid of the ball quick too, so they got to be ready to jump on stuff too. I think, you can't let what the Chiefs are doing and just send blitzes. I don't think you can blitz him really, because he's a smart guy. I mean, he's like Derek Carr. He's a smart dude. He's just gonna replace it. I mean, that's what he did to the Chiefs. The Chiefs want to play cover 0 like idiots, and not respect somebody. I hate that. When you guys not watch tape, but and he's getting these wide open shallows, and he's just getting hit and like throwing the shallow and it's 20 yards down the field. So I think the Raiders they have to get home with 4 this week, and I think that's I think they'll be able to do it. But you're right, they have to take down a quarterback for sure.
Yeah, keep him in the pocket, and if he does break the pocket, someone's got to be there, to punish him for it. Just make him pay for it, right? If he keeps on breaking the pocket. We'll see how that progresses. My thoughts about the entire defensive line. I think everyone's playing great, honestly. Phylon comes in at 3 technique and 1 technique, so he subs out Hankins and Jefferson. So it's a good little 3-man rotation. And when they want to really rush the passer, then they put Solomon Thomas in there alongside with Quentin Jefferson or Darius Phylon, you know. Yep. So all these guys are creating some push. Obviously, Max Crosby, Yannick Ngakoue, they're making it. They're getting it started. But these interior guys we've seen play well, a lot of that is because quarterbacks are having to do something and escape and get to a second reaction because of the pressure that Crosby and Yannick are creating. We just got to start seeing now a defensive tackle, one of these interior guys, start capitalizing on it even more so than they have been. So one of these guys is going to have to keep on ascending. I like some things that I've seen from Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, okay.
But it's mostly effort. It's like second, third reaction. You know, I think Darius Phylon is having some quicker wins, especially against the run. Getting that penetration into the backfield. And I think that Jefferson's probably the best pass rusher out of all these guys. So they're just gonna have to keep on playing it into existence and seeing which one of these guys can continue to ascend. But I think the Raiders defense is going to need it. I don't think that it can just rest on the edge rushers. Someone else is going to have to really step up too.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. It's funny. I just had to pull up how many snaps Diablo had played a free safety. It says 16. Now I'm looking at his grade. Of course, you know, PFF only grades when you get targeted. So he has a bad coverage grade because he had 1 target.
Yeah.
even though we just saw him playing good coverage like 3 times. It's hilarious. Anyways.
Right. Yeah. So some interesting things to keep your eyes on. I think that's going to do it for me. Yeah. Okay. I think it's about time. So Raider Nation, we appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Tape Don't Lie podcast. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, or what's the other one that you said at the beginning?
Apple, Spotify. I don't know what else is there, right?
I thought you said another one, Dog or something like that.
Sound Dog.
I thought you said something like that.
That's a new one, bro. I don't know what
that's a new one. Okay, yeah. There's also Twitcher. If you're listening to it wherever you find your podcast, make sure you hit the download button so you get them straight onto your device. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. Smash that like button, bro. Okay, turn on post notifications. Tell everyone about the Tape Don't Lie podcast. Follow myself on Twitter at BDWilliams18. Follow Marcus on Twitter at TheMarkJohnNFL. And also make sure you get yourself some Manscaped. Enter promo code TDL at manscaped.com for 20% off. That's it, Raider Nation. We appreciate y'all.
Peace.